Richard's won a beautiful Speedo with Claude Schnell. His Speedo matches Richard's. Vic Catay. Oh, there you go. How did the elope work for you? Joanne Willows. You've won a matching donut set. Really? Adrena Sinclair, you've won me. Oh, you don't want it. Caw-caw. Krista Fradette. Way to go, Krista. You've won an all-expenses-paid trip by you. Bentley Fradette. Wow. You guys have got the same last name, like you brother, sister, or? Al Clark. It's my brother. Keep it in the families. Okay, Dallas, is it Gordy? Way to go, Dallas. Eagerly waiting, only 2 prizes left here. Latoya Clark. I'm keeping it all in the family here. She even put her phone number down. Does anybody want it? And April Gustafson. And for the last door prize, Clinton Gibbons. Way to go. Okay, we are going to have a 10-minute intermission.
If you were here last year, you would have seen a video. And on the video were graduates of Mercy Ministries. And they held up cardboard testimonies. Well, I have good news for you. We have a real live graduate here from Mercy Ministries tonight. And I was introduced to Krista about a year ago. Not quite, a little more than a year ago. And it all happened by chance. How many of you know that things don't just happen by chance? I was speaking about the ministry at a very tiny church in Beaubier. Not a tiny church, the church is big. There's a few people that go there, a few very good people that go there. And after I was done speaking, a lady came up to me and she said, I'm pretty sure that my daughter-in-law graduated from Mercy Ministries. And I was like, really? Because that's what we're modeling our program after. So I got in touch with Krista right away, and I was so touched by her story that I wanted her to come and share it with you tonight. So, without further ado, please welcome Krista Fradette.
Well, hello. Thank you, Shelley. And I guess I just want to start off by saying that I'm just so excited for the vision that God has given Shelly, and just for her willingness to walk it out, as I've seen firsthand what a ministry like this can do. Also, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here with all of you, and Shelly for giving me the opportunity to stand up in front of everyone and just share my story of how Mercy Ministries has impacted my life. One of the reasons that I'm able to stand here tonight, just a healed and confident woman, and a woman that knows who God has created me to be, is because of the people like you, and the people that partnered with Mercy Ministries through prayer and financial support. And that's you guys here with Choose Ministries. So I just want to thank you for making that possible, and thank you for your willingness to support with Choose Ministries or Choose Life Ministries as well. By being here tonight, you are making it possible for many more young women to seek the freedom and to have hope in their life again too. So Shelly mentioned a little bit about Mercy, but for those of you that haven't heard about Mercy Ministries, it is a free of charge, faith-based ministry. There's many homes all over the world, and I attended one in California. It's a 6-month program, and it's for young women struggling with a variety of life-controlling issues. So a very, very similar program to what Shelly is wanting in Choose Life. So I guess now I'll just share a little bit of my story with you guys, and my story of just how God has redeemed me and used Mercy to help with that. So I was born into an amazing Christian family. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. I was raised going to church. Every Sunday was encouraged to pursue a life after God. After accepting Jesus into my life at a young age, I began to live the church life. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, the church life as a kid, it's easy to live through your parents and the people you're surrounded with. And I was always really confused with that, confused what being a Christian really meant and what it needed to look like in my life and how to make it my own. And in about grade 5, things really started to become a lot more challenging for me. Teasing began in school. Just really struggled to find my place and to feel like I belonged. I struggled with understanding who I was and why I was the way I was. Always felt out of place and like I didn't have an identity and nothing to offer life. So life just quickly turned into a lot of isolation and depression, just hatred towards myself, towards God, and towards everyone around me. As I continued throughout my teenage years, things continued to get worse. I began experimenting with restricting and binging and purging, just with the thoughts that this would make my life easier. I very quickly learned that it took control of my life, and it stole numerous years from me. I did this with the hopes that it would make me a prettier, thinner, more confident person. I was very angry at God for making me the way that I was, with the personality I had, and I hated the way I looked. I felt like I had nothing to offer, and I wished that I were living someone else's life. This life of secrecy for me and lying began controlling my life and turned into a cycle of just consuming thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and really just controlled my life and who I was. After being diagnosed with anorexia, bulimia, and depression, and placed on many medications, this just began the days of treatment centers, of counselors, of support groups, and doctor's appointments, just when it became visible. And these problems just became my labels. Feeling like I had no identity and didn't know who I was, I took these labels on willingly. I continued to live this life of me and my eating disorder. And my eating disorder to me at this point was my everything. It was my best friend. It was my safety. It was my comfort. And It was my whole life. That's who I felt loved by, and that's where I felt confident and comfortable. While living this life and believing all of these lies, leading to self-hatred and self-destruction for myself, I became very suicidal. I just had no purpose to live. And I didn't want to live life if this was what my life was going to be all about. I felt like a failure to my family. I felt like a failure to myself and to God. And, sorry. And I just wanted my life to end. At this point, I didn't care what it took. I wanted my life to end if this is what it was going to be about. So just with these feelings, wanting desperately just to numb my pain and do whatever it would take, I began to join the drinking crowd, the party crowd, thinking that maybe this would be the solution and help me through these times. But instead, I just found that it numbed the pain in the moment, and I just became more and more depressed later on. Over the span of my struggles, Satan never gave up on me, and after multiple suicide attempts, things always remained the same and just became worse. Through this all, though, God blessed me with amazing parents and amazing family who, through it all, were faithfully praying and believing that there was healing in my life and that God would meet me where I was at in that moment and pull me out of that pit. In the midst of all the hurting and the struggles going on in my life, God heard their prayers. And my sister told me about Mercy Ministries. And after hearing about Mercy and kind of looking into it a little bit, didn't really think that was a place for me. Didn't feel like I was meant for that. I wasn't bad enough. I wasn't in a spot where I needed that. I wasn't needing help. But then I was given a book, Mercy Moves Mountains, and it's a book written by Mercy graduates, just sharing their stories of just how God redeemed them through the program, and basically their stories of how they got through what they had been going through in life and their redemption. Through reading that book for the first time, I really began to feel hope, like there was hope out there. There was something out there that could save me from this spot I was in. After soon beginning that application process, though, I became very fearful of failing and for letting those people down around me, for letting my family down, for letting myself down, for trying yet again, and for failing. So I pushed that opportunity away. And I felt like I had created this monster in my life. I brought it on, so I was the one that needed to fix it. Although deep down I knew that God was there and that he had something better for me. But just that, all those lies from Satan telling me that I was beyond help and I was worthless. I felt like everything was my fault and that God was mad at me, and that again, I created this problem, so I need to fix it myself. It wasn't long after, though, that again, I just hit rock bottom, and I realized how desperate I really was for help, and how much I did need change in my life. Otherwise, my life wasn't gonna last too long. So the process to go to Mercy began again, and this was a challenging, scary time, but I was just tired of my life being controlled by these issues, and I was tired of feeling the way I was. I was desperate for help, so at this point, I was committed to do whatever it would take to feel hope and to feel like there was something better for my life. I began to realize that God was my only chance at freedom, and trying everything else, realizing that everything else was just gonna numb the pain. It wasn't gonna fix me and make me feel any better. So walking through those Mercy doors after I got accepted, It was one of the scariest, but yet also one of the most relieving days of my life. Just thinking back of walking through those doors, I walked in a scared, hurt, quiet, deceived woman. My time at Mercy was one of the most challenging, but yet at the same time, one of the most rewarding things that I have ever committed to in my life. It was a roller coaster ride where I felt every feeling possible and every emotion possible. But through that, God stretched me and he revealed himself to me in ways that I could never have imagined. Some just really amazing tools that Mercy gave us while we were in the program were creating truth statements. So what a truth statement was it's a statement that we created for ourselves, and it was based on the lies that we were believing. So, for example, one of my lies was that I will only be seen as beautiful if I'm skinny. My truth statement I created for that was I'm beautiful because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And then we put a scripture with that as well. So my scripture was Psalm 139, 13, 14. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know this full well. They also encouraged us to read a little book. It's just a little book called God's Creative Power. And they had us speaking this over our lives every day, just reading through this book of scriptures and truths, and just confessing these over our lives every day. So it was just some of these basic things, such as choosing to speak truth from my God's creative power, speaking my truth statements over myself, as well as many other tools that they gave us that just made such an impact on me and the woman I have become today. Graduating Mercy Ministries was one of the biggest accomplishments I can say today that I have done in my entire life. I walked out of those doors a new creation. I walked out confident in who I was and who God made me to be. I am no longer consumed with thoughts, fears, and feelings of food and darkness. And I will no longer find my identity in those labels, but in Jesus Christ. I can now wake up knowing that God is enthralled with my beauty, that he calls me beautiful, that he calls me valuable and worthy and confident and accepted and forgiven. My past has been forgotten, and waking up every day just knowing that my past has been forgotten and that each day is a brand new day for me. Just thinking though, and I know a big thing while we were at Mercy was that Mercy isn't healing us. It wasn't Mercy that healed me, but rather it was that they taught me about God's true character, and they gave me the tools that I needed to leave Mercy and walk out of those doors and continue to live a life of freedom. I learned that everything is a choice. God is not going to force me to do anything. It's my choice every single day to wake up knowing that I am healed and I am free from all of those things. 3 years later, I still wake up knowing that I have to make that choice of whether or not I'm going to walk that day out in freedom. This October marks 3 years for me from graduating Mercy Ministries in California. So 3 years from when I graduated the program in California. I'm not going to stand in front of you, though, and say that those 3 years have been easy. I think walking out of those doors of Mercy Ministries, you walked out with the expectation that I'm healed, this is going to be easy, but really realizing that we live in a world of sin, and we live in a challenging world, and it's not easy out there, and that Satan seeks to destroy us. He seeks to devour around us and do whatever he needs to do to take us down. So I'm not going to stand in front and say that it's been an easy 3 years. It's been far from easy. Yes, I still struggle at times, and I even have urges to act out on my previous behaviors. But the one difference is that today I know that in those times, that those are the times when I have to run to God. I have to run as fast as I can. And then I have to cry out to God with those struggles and with my pain. And then I have to use my God-given authority and tell the devil to flee in Jesus' name. And to use those tools to renew my mind with God's truth. And I strongly believe now, though, that I am not alone in this. Before I felt alone. But today I can say that I am not alone in this. I can't do it alone. And I have to trust and I have to believe that God has abundant plans and purposes for my life. God has blessed me with so much since I have graduated Mercy. Leaving Mercy, I knew that God had plans for me, but I really had no idea how big his plans really were. God has blessed me with the most amazing man. Just over a year ago, I got married to the man of my dreams. Pretty awesome, yeah. Never would have thought that I would have a man in my life that supports, encourages, and walks alongside me in everything I do, whether it's good or bad days. Something I've definitely always dreamed about, being a wife, but never thought it would happen. God just continues to amaze me every single day, just in the ways that he looks after me, he looks after us as a couple, and the ways that he blesses our marriage to this day. I guess before I finish, I just want to emphasize again that it wasn't Mercy Ministries that healed me. They walked alongside me while giving me the tools and teaching me how to live a healthy lifestyle, seeking after God. But ultimately, God is my healer and my redeemer. I can strongly say today that my life could be in a very different state if God hadn't given me the chance to attend that program in California. Throughout my years of struggles, I attended multiple treatment centers. I'd been admitted many times to hospitals and psych wards. Yes, I can say that these treated the outward symptoms, but they never went deeper than that. I know that my issues were more than just being anorexic or bulimic or suicidal. Yes, I believe you can treat all of the physical symptoms, but there's much more needed than that. I believe that there was a war going on inside of me. Satan saw potential in me, and so he was going to do whatever he could to take me out. And a verse that sticks with me to this day, and just something I really live by and have to remember, is that John 10:10, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come so that you may have abundant life. Choose Life, much like Mercy Ministries, is seeking to give young women like myself a sense of hope and worth. I was so excited when I heard about Shelley and her dream of Choose Life Ministries right here in Saskatchewan, because of those many years where I was searching for something, and just it was so far reached for me. But just knowing that there are so many hurting young women right here in our own lives, in our own communities. These women are searching for a safe place to seek healing. And now with Choose Life, I feel like it provides them with that opportunity to do so without having to leave Saskatchewan, which is really, really cool. I'm so excited to see what God has in store for this ministry and in store for Shelley and for the many lives that are going to be changed through it. Again, I want to just thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here with you guys and to share my story of how Mercy Ministries just impacted my life and just God's healing and redemption on my life as well, and for being here tonight to support such a life-changing ministry, and just being here, just knowing that you guys are making an impact on many, many other young women's lives to come. So thank you for all of your support and just through it all.